This is Unemployed Jeff. Conversations about identity, uncertainty, and what's left when work has kind of fallen away. As you can assume, I'm Jeff. And my goal is you walk away at least feeling like you're not alone and knowing that you have value. Who is this for? This is for people who are unemployed, underemployed, burned out, or quietly questioning their career identity. Heavy stuff. But it's also, I just want people to know you're not alone. It's for people who are tired of being told to reframe everything as an opportunity. It's for people who are dealing with the invisible work of holding themselves together while the outside world keeps asking for updates. Sometimes it'll just be talking. Sometimes I'll have conversations with other people who've been through this, not because they figured it out, but because they lived through the in-between, or people who are currently living in the in-between. If you're listening to this and thinking, oh, someone finally said it out loud, then this is for you. And I don't know where the podcast is going to go yet. And honestly, that to me feels pretty appropriate. What I do know is that I'm going to show up honestly. I'm not going to rush the story. And I'm not going to pretend this part of life doesn't matter. If you're here, thank you. And if you're in the middle of your own reset, you're not behind, you're not broken, and you're not doing this wrong. I'm glad you're here. Advice fatigue. When everyone has a suggestion. There's another thing that shows up during unemployment that's hard to name but easy to feel. Advice fatigue. And it's not that people mean harm. Most of the advice comes from a very good place, but after a while it starts to feel heavy because people want to help you. You get a flood of suggestions. And when people find out you're unemployed, something shifts. Everyone becomes helpful. They say things like, have you tried networking more? You should talk to this one person. Maybe now's the time to pivot. Have you thought about consulting? Have you thought about updating your resume or your LinkedIn profile? And all of these are reasonable suggestions. But most of them you've already thought about. And some of them you've already tried. But why does that advice feel different now? Because the advice isn't the problem. Timing is. When you're doing everything you can, advice can land like a reminder of what isn't working. It adds another layer of responsibility, another thing to consider, another path to evaluate, another way to feel behind. And instead of clarity, it creates this noise. At some point, you realize you're not collecting advice anymore. You're collecting unfinished homework. Here's something I've noticed. It's almost like advice as emotional displacement. Advice is often a way for other people to manage their discomfort. They want to help. They want to feel useful. They want the situation to resolve for their peace of mind. So they offer solutions. Not because you asked, but because sitting with uncertainty is hard. Even if it's somebody else's uncertainty. There's also pressure on your side because you want to respond well, to be appreciative, you don't want to sound offensive. You want to seem grateful. You don't want to not seem grateful. So you nod. You say thank you. You take the suggestion. Even when what you really need is not another idea, but permission to be where you are. So you start saying things like, that's a good thought, which is true. and also doing a lot of emotional labor. What helps most during this season isn't advice, it's presence. It's someone saying, "That sounds hard," or "I don't know what to say, but I'm here." Those moments don't solve anything, but they make things bearable. And that matters more than what most people realize. If you're tired of advice right now, that doesn't mean you're closed off. It just means you're saturated. You can only hold so many possibilities at once before they stop being helpful. So let's reframe advice. Um, so, if you're felt overwhelmed by suggestions, strategies, and well meaning fixes, that doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're human. You don't need more answers right now. You need steadiness. And it's okay to let advice pass by without picking it up. Let's just keep this simple. If you're in this space, you don't need to fix it right now. You just need to know you're not alone in it. We'll talk again soon.